Thank you for being with us.
Thank
Minister.
you.
Can we start, since you've been Communications Minister, it's been interesting to watch because unfortunately everybody's talking about the past, the previous portfolio, and a lot of people saying, why aren't you responding to those claims that you left water and sanitation in a mess? Can we start there?
Thank you very much. Yes, I think up until one is being given an opportunity to present her own side of the story, we would come to appreciate what we are dealing with. Over time, everybody has been highly concerned about the challenges that Eskom is going through. And many of us forget that the same challenges are the ones that you find in the water sector. The very municipalities that are unable to provide the payments on time and duly to Eskom are the same municipalities that are not able to pay the department, nor are they able to pay the water boards. But because water is a constitutional right, you have a responsibility to provide. Secondly, we have a project, one mega project, that we inherited from the previous Limpopo provincial government, together with the Mopani municipality, where the highest court in the land instructed central government to intervene in Guyane. Of course, it's not within our legislative responsibility as central government to deal with water reticulation, but if a high court says you shall then take over the entire water scheme and deal with it within a particular period of time, you do it. Of course, when it gets audited, it will be irregular because you've acted beyond your mandate. The last one is that we have had a challenge of the drought in the last 4 years. And fortunately, in South Africa, we've not found ourselves in the biggest challenges that we have been seeing in other countries. And that's exactly the things that we definitely have to deal with. The last one is on the water trading entity. I'm happy that just last week, information came out on the very things that I had personally tried to deal with, particularly on the revenue collection by a service provider that I inherited. And precisely because of that, we planned, when I announced the Terry Mudau investigating team, we picked up the information and there was a call for forensic investigation, and that was the thing that we were now supposed to activate, which I hope the department will be able to activate and find out how does the water trading entity, how did the water trading entity manage to pay a service provider that was collecting payments from those who can be able to pay but could not actually collect from those who were not actually complying.
I think everyone accepts water is complex, and you've got national, provincial, municipalities, but people have made serious claims. The new minister, Themba Gordy from Scopa, named you and said, in reality, Minister Nomvula Mokonyane has left a department that is completely collapsed, and then raising concerns about you being in charge of SABC. Have you asked to go and stand before MPs and clarify this and fix this up?
In fact, before I even left, I wrote a letter to both the Speaker of Parliament and the Presidency to say, I've noticed that there's been a lot of issues raised in Parliament, and even singling out a person called Nomvula. I'm looking forward to a day when I will be given my opportunity to speak for myself, because even Parliament has not been helpful in this particular space, because it is Parliament that should have brought in the Portfolio Committee of Cooperative Governance, the portfolio on the adjustments, so that then all of us, we deal with what is the inherent challenge, the roles and responsibilities, and the challenges of those that are dealing with the provision of bulk services such as electricity and water. We will never be out of the woods. Fact of the matter is that, yes, there are processes, but there is no way where the individual called Nomvula has acted unilaterally coming from her house. It is processes and systems, and even the AG has been challenged by the water board in Limpopo on understanding how we found ourselves on this. If the department would never have acted on Guyane, again the headlines would have been we transgressing against a court order. Two, we are acting on this. We wanted to act on the issue of NICS, which was the service provider that was appointed in 2013 before I came in. And I hope that Parliament would actually bring those that are affected to book so that then we deal with these issues. The most unfortunate thing, it's easy to single out a politician and a minister, but I'm ready for it. And I really would want us to close that chapter and move. The main challenge in this country that we must deal with is trial through the media and depriving people the chance to speak. And unfortunately also parliamentarians going beyond their reach with regard to the responsibility, because I would wish to see a situation where it is said that I took 2.3 billion. We've provided services to then say, putting a borehole for the Nkensani hospital in Guyane is putting a Rolls Royce in a rural area. It also flies against the issues of rural development, as if that community doesn't deserve that. And putting a borehole is not like going into a shop and buy a borehole and think that is the price. You have to put a purification pump. You have to actually deal with the drilling. You have to deal with the connectivity. If there has been anything that is found untowards, let us deal with those that are implicated and deal with them. The responsibility I take, I acted on the basis of a court judgment on Guyane. Secondly, when we said we're going to act on the municipalities, again, it was that parliament, COCTA, SCOPA, the Department of the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation that said you can't switch off water. There was drama in Mfuleni when we had to deal with this. We had to bring Rand Water, and to date, Rand Water has not been able to recover its debt. As I'm saying, it's easy to be worried about Eskom, and it is easy to then pick up the issues of water and make them to be issues of Nomvula Mokonyane. But I think what is important is for us to be given a chance and deal with this matter, and even take back the fight to Parliament and say, sort your house, put your things together, and make sure that consequences are applied even on those that are transgressing in ensuring that people are held accountable. There is no way in this country that tomorrow somebody can say you can switch off water, because it is a constitutional right. As we speak now, that department is continuing to supply bulk water to the very municipalities that are not paying. So in fact, the debt will actually accumulate. And I will not be surprised that until we sort out the value chain from source to tap in terms of legislation, so that it speaks to the constitutional mandate, we will not be able to resolve our matters.
Moving from water and sanitation, and a final legacy issue widely reported on, you were famously or infamously quoted as saying, if the rand falls, let's pick it up, and criticized for that, saying, what about the economic fundamentals? Do you understand it? Are you being trite? Now you're dealing with one of the most complex issues that government has had to face, digital migration. Your response to your critics there?
Well, a metaphor, because of a very contaminated environment and a silly environment that we're coming from, people would not even appreciate a metaphor when you say, we'll have to go back and work hard, and all of us make sure that we start from the ground so that we can change things. Where we are as a country, it is again on the basis of the hard work and collective contribution by every peace-loving South African who has hope that we are where we are. And what we need to do is to continue to say, we cannot do it alone. We need everybody. The future of this country must be everybody's business. You must start in your own little space. Government must create an enabling environment. Our institutions must be geared towards that. The South African Broadcasting Corporation must be helped to become a broadcaster of integrity, bring it even beyond its previous glory, and ensure that you've got capable men and women in the board, capable men and women who are managing the corporation, but of importance, have content that contributes towards inclusive growth of our economy and creation of jobs, but key, making sure that we build a nation and we promote social cohesion through the public broadcaster, and we include diverse languages and diverse sectors such as the deaf community that must be accommodated in this space, programs that must deal with educating the boy and the girl child on the rights and responsibilities, so that then we deal with preventative measures around issues of crime and domestic violence against women and children, but of importance, making sure that the SABC becomes financially viable through us, all of us paying for our TV licenses. Secondly, making sure that we give the space for SABC to find new partners that can actually change the revenue streams of the SABC. And lastly, being less dependent on external service providers, but building the capacity of the South African Broadcasting Corporation.
Does the SABC need a bailout? Are we going to get one?
The SABC needs to reposition itself and convince everybody that it is capable of doing things, because we have seen how bailouts have not actually worked in many areas. The SAA, ESCOM, what it actually needs is the capacity and a program that will demonstrate an exit out of being dependent on a bailout. What we are all working on, and I'm quite excited about it, is that there are things that are unavoidable. We must deal with the debt that the new board has inherited. I do believe that it must be a responsibility of everybody, because it also comes from the inquiry on the SABC. Secondly, we need to come back and say this is how we're repositioning ourselves, and hence the SABC is one of the SOEs that are part of the work that is going to be done through the interministerial committee chaired by the President. Very soon we'll be meeting with Telkom, amongst others, to again crowd in the participation of other SOEs into the life of the SABC.
So if there's a bailout, you're saying first the SABC has to stand on its own 2 feet, or show where it would go if it was given.
Like any other child, you need to make sure that first the child stands on his or her 2 feet and demonstrates the ability to can walk, and that is what we really need to show to all of our partners. And secondly, to also allow new ideas and innovative solutions, such as the possible partnership with Telkom, and such as also the review of our sporting rights and our advertising space. We need to go big in that space.
We're running out of time, so we have to talk about digital migration. Minister after minister after minister has failed to deliver digital television to South Africa. What's your plan?
We can't do it alone, and that is the belief, and that's the intervention that we're making. We need partnership. We need to bring retail. We need to bring innovative solutions. The advisory council that is inclusive of the private sector is going to be part of this. By the end of June, we'll be presenting a new way of digital migration, because the fiscus can't deal with this. Government alone cannot do it, and we've got capacity and expertise in South Africa that can make us to realize the target date now, which is June 2019.
So is it going to happen?
It has to happen, because it can be done if we work in partnership with the sector.
Final question, just looking at this, I mean, are you coming in and saying this is a tragedy? Because I think about it, we need free Wi-Fi in townships. The mobile operators are saying we need spectrum to be able to deliver better services. And it seems like this was delayed because of politics, commercial interests. Do you agree that this is a blight, really?
I wouldn't want to even deal with what exactly were the contributors to that. I'm here. We are here. We must now move on, and the best way to move on is to make sure that we open up, we bring everybody into the party, we mobilize private sector, we mobilize the resources, and we allow the retail, including others that can participate there, as well as new participants and new entrants into the space, so that of course we can deal with the issues of the spectrum and the opportunities that will come with the release of part of the spectrum. We must deal with the issues of data, but of importance, we must also deal with the issues of content, so that then whatever that we're dealing with, we're not just dealing with changing the technology without actually expanding the quality of the content, so that it can really contribute towards building this nation and promoting social cohesion.
Thank you for your time tonight.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much.
Minister of Communications, Nomvula Mokonyane.